Hello, welcome to the Permission Mission Show. My name is Mary McElhatton. I am your host today. We are actually airing the Permission Show number 43. I'm very excited to be broadcasting live here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You are in for a treat today. We've got a beautiful guest who's going to be sharing one of her amazing story, and it ties in beautifully with what we do here with the Permission Mission Show, and that is normalizing the conversation of mortality. So we just are better prepared. We can find peace in preparing, and we also can find the peace in the passing. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome into the show Lindsay Wiesner. She is all the way from Minnesota, live checking in with us today. And Lindsay is a mother, she is a wife, she is a leader in her community, and she embraces death wholeheartedly. Lindsay is also, because of the situation that she found herself in at a young age, which she'll share her own story, she found that this could lead her into a path of actually bringing life to the conversation of death for other people. She helps them in a deeper understanding of spirituality, healing, and also the mystery of death. She joins us here today with her wisdom that she guides her clients through their own healing journey, and she helps them embrace life with clarity, peace, and purpose. Lindsay, welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you are here with us today.
Good morning, Mary. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to have just an amazing, deep, and meaningful conversation with you.
Gosh, I just got chills, Lindsay, when you said that, a deep, meaningful conversation. That mortality is that. And I think if we can get that more in the open for other people to recognize what it actually does is bring that deeper conversation rather than us, how's your day? How's the weather? So the meaningful. So, Lindsay, take me back to your first experience with death.
So my near-death experience happened in November of 2005. I was 14 years old. I was in a car accident, and due to the results of the injuries, I actually ended up passing over briefly. And my own experience in that moment was I did have a crossover moment where within that space, the experience is so interesting to put words to. It was a feeling of wholeness, a feeling of unconditional love, a feeling of any of the worries that you think you have here during this lifetime are completely null and void. Like you just feel that you are yourself and your fullest authenticity. And I did have a moment where I did hear a voice who said, Lindsay, it is not your time yet. You still have work to do in this lifetime. And then from there, I woke back up and I was right back in my body again.
Wow. So it wasn't your turn.
No.
Another example of, people think that death is just like final, like it just, of course it is a final moment for each and every one of us, but it's never at the time that some may think it's going to be, because we have experiences like you who passed, but then it was obviously apparent you're still here today that it really wasn't your time.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be afraid of talking about mortality and death because it's going to happen. And in this particular time, it didn't happen for you. What was that like for your family to go through that?
Well, for my family, when it happened, I don't think they realized that it fully happened. It was gradually happening for me in a space of, I was telling my father that the lights were too bright in the room and he started shutting off the lights and covering the doorways and making it completely pitch black in the room. And I continue to still say that there was a really, really, really bright light before I passed over. And it really wasn't until later when I was finally out of the hospital and a couple weeks after that that I shared that experience of what had actually happened in that moment for me.
Mhm.
But I think what the blessing was out of all of that was I got to have an experience that helped eliminate the fear of death itself, of what's on the other side, as well as what could have been a really traumatic experience for me actually turned into a blessing. And to this day, you know, that car accident and that experience isn't something I look at with, you know, sadness or trauma. You know, it's actually something that I feel so eternally grateful that I had that experience, because I really got to have this profound experience and seeing what it's like on the other side.
So it's brought you a lot of like comfort probably today in life. What is it that you contribute to that day in living wholeheartedly today? What is it? What's that change specifically?
So I can tell you at that time when I was 14, you know, it was live life to the fullest. Like, make sure you have all of the experiences that you want to have, do all the things you want to do, and accomplish absolutely everything that you set your mind to. And, you know, don't hold back. And at that time at 14, it was a lot of, I'm going to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And now as I've gotten older, I've realized that although I've done all the things I wanted to do, what I was missing and what I feel that, you know, God really wanted me to have was the beingness, being present, experiencing everything fully, being able to feel absolutely all of it within my heart, whether it's the good times or the bad, and learning how to have that level of awareness in the moment versus needing to accomplish all these different things. So now I'm in this space in my life where it's more about, how am I being present in the moment? How am I being? How am I feeling? And actually living the moment to its fullest rather than needing to accomplish something.
Gosh, Lindsay, that's awesome to hear that, and how you've taken that situation and turned it into something that really does add value, you know, not only to your life, but to other people's life. I know when I met you, like your energy is just, it's so grounded. And I thought,
Mhm.
gosh, man, she's young. Like, you know, and that is what I was so attracted to, was the fact that you're so grounded in your moments, and
Mhm.
that you allow emotions to come through for other people as much as they do for yourself. And it was so freeing. And that is, again, what I hope people to hear today is
Mhm.
that it's not about death and dying. It's about life and living,
Yep,
and what kind of value, by having these discussions of death, can add to the moments of today.
exactly.
So, talk to me a little bit about how you've taken this situation and turned it into helping other people.
Yeah. So, with the strength that I've gathered and being in that situation and growing through my own experiences over time in life, I feel that now I'm able to hold a space for other people as a spiritual life coach. And it really comes down to helping people find the wholeness of who they are. And that's in all areas of their lives. That's emotionally, physically, spiritually, career. I mean, it's the whole essence of who someone is and what they're really wanting to create out of their life, and helping them see through their different fears, through their different limiting beliefs, and really coming through to who am I at the core of my being, and what do I really want to create in this life, and how do I want to show up, and what is my purpose at a deeper soul level? What is my purpose? What am I wanting to create in this lifetime? What am I wanting to do with this time that I have here on earth right now? And helping people become super crystal clear as to what it is they want to create.
Would you say that there's a lot of people still seeking and searching for their purpose?
Absolutely. I feel like everyone, there are a lot of people out there who are going to be wondering, well, what exactly am I here to do? And that's the first step, right? Is beginning to question it, because there's so many of us who go through life just on autopilot every day without even taking a moment to ask that question. And it's so easy just to go through the daily routines and just get up, go to the gym, go to work, take care of the kids, and just going through the day-to-day tasks without taking a moment to create an awareness of being present with yourself and saying, what is it exactly that I'm wanting to do in this life? And what is like that deeper purpose of what I'm wanting to do? So the first step is even just asking that question. And that immediately creates that sense of awareness in that moment. And that's the first step.
The first step.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think people are afraid of death? And I ask this to a lot of people, a lot of different people, because I'm interested in the different ideas that people have, right? They have a different definition of it. They have a different experience with it. So why do you think people are afraid of death?
I think people are afraid of death because it's unknown. I think because it's just such a mystery, and there's so many different belief systems and structures out there that without any kind of, personal experience or self-reflection, it can be a really scary thing because it's so unknown. Like, what exactly happens to me when I pass on?
Yeah. Which a lot of people, I mean, it took me a while to figure that out. Like, I wanted to know, I want to exist even after this life if I have an opportunity to.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if that might be where people can get behind knowing that they do exist after this lifetime.
Yep.
In some fashion or form when they live the purpose that they're meant to live in this lifetime.
Yep. Absolutely.
So what would you say to a person? Explain to me what type of client, person, family, what would be your specific, as far as qualifications for you to work with them?
So for me, it's anybody who's ready to dig deeper and who's not afraid to learn more about themselves than they ever have before, and being willing to get to a place where I'm ready to embrace all of the parts of myself, the good and the bad, and who are actually wanting to know themselves on a whole new level and not be afraid to see what that looks like.
That can be scary to some people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we're the last people to look in the mirror and actually identify ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's always looking in the mirror to compare with everybody else. It's like, whoa, I'm going to actually get to know myself at a deeper level and a deeper understanding, and also the good and the bad parts of us. I truly believe we cannot even identify with this precious life that we have until we identify with the loss that we gain. I mean, it's the inevitable. It's not going to happen for just one of us or a few of us. It's going to happen 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first shared with you about my mission and the permission mission, what were your first thoughts?
My first thoughts were, wow, that is absolutely amazing. And I feel like it's a very important conversation to have. The more that we can openly have the conversation, it can bring a little bit more peace and comfort, and being okay with having the conversation around mortality and death, because at the end of the day, that's one of the main things we all have in common.
Mm. Yeah, and whether you like it or not, right? Whether you
Yeah.
like someone or not, it's a deal breaker in a good way,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that each and every one of us are in it together.
Yep.
And I always say in it together to win it together,
Absolutely.
whatever, because it doesn't really matter about what success you've had in life. You shared in the beginning how you at 14, and again, I commend you on being attentive enough to recognize that. And I can identify with it because I was 14 when my brother died.
Mm.
And I remember looking at him in the casket saying, that will be me one day. What do I want to do today with my life? And it was such a gift, but such a sad, sad moment with an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity of a gift at the very same time. Like
Yes.
and 14's that weird age, like we're just weird,
We
trying to
are.
figure out we're not a kid anymore, venturing into that adult life, and bam, something traumatic like that happens. But there are gifts in every bad situation if we can just seek it and search it and find it and embrace it and trust it. So what has been the benefits by talking to people about mortality? What have been the benefits for them and for you?
Yeah. So, I have clients that are, have had important people that pass away. And when I'm working with them on different things from childhood or anything that they've had with their relationships with parents, even if the parent has, for example, passed away, there's still an opportunity for healing. And it's in the space of, for example, I worked with one client and brought her into a meditation and brought her awareness to her mom. And she allowed herself to drop in and let go of any previous reservations or feelings that she had had, and was able to truly feel a different level of unconditional love from her mom's spirit than she had as a child. And with that feeling, she was able to start healing herself and the experiences that she had had, and be able to connect with her mother on a much more intimate and loving level that has allowed her to start expanding herself and being able to, forgive and let things go from the past, because she was able to connect on such a more profound and loving level with the spirit of her mother. And so I truly believe that, even with death, there's so many more opportunities for healing with it as well.
You bring up where so the mother may have never had permission to understand love or understand, you know what I mean? Like we all come from so many different backgrounds, so many different definitions of love and hurt. And it's like sometimes I just wonder how a person who's kind of done the best that they can leave so much destruction to a person who's still living on how do they overcome that. So you say that you bring them to a meditation to be able to maybe see them in a different light.
Correct. Yep.
See them in a different light of maybe just a human versus someone who, I mean, even the worst of the worst parents, I don't believe are the worst parents.
No.
I think that I know believe me, I've screwed things up with my kids. I tell them, I'm so sorry. Like I'm doing the best I can, but I get mad. I'm a human. I'm real. And I'm also very verbally expressive. So if I'm in a moment of anger, like I'm going to say I'm scared or I don't understand this or and I know it just kind of spins them like you're the mom, you should know everything. I'm like, I'm a mom, but I'm a person too, just like you. So
Yep.
when you don't have the answer, I probably don't either. And I can see how helpful that would be for someone to go back and heal that relationship. Because I'm just wondering if there's, because it's such a silent conversation, I don't think people even know that they can do that.
Absolutely. And it's really, it takes a lot for the person who is having the meditation to even allow their heart to open to that opportunity. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the person who's having the meditation to give themselves permission to heal.
Yeah. So where do you want to take this? Like, well, before I ask that question, I do want to ask you, what experience have you had with loss?
So I just recently had a loss on October 13th. Someone who was very close to me. Her name is Vaughn. She was a mother figure, a mentor, and she had an illness. And I spent the last 3 days going by and visiting her and being with her on her final days. And I feel that with my personal experience of having my near death experience, it allowed me to hold space for her in a different way because I could feel and envision where she was going. And I feel that for me, it allowed myself a lot more peace, although it was still hard and there were a lot of tears and it's sad to have lost her here on this physical plane because she was such a bright light and she helped heal so many people and did amazing work and left an amazing legacy behind for all of the love that she gave into this world. I know in my heart that I'm still connected to her and that she's still connected with every person that she made an impact on. And being able to be with her in that space in the last 3 days was, sad and beautiful at the same time.
Wow. Well, my condolences to you for Vaughn. I can just see though that, yeah, like she didn't go anywhere.
No.
She'll
Nope.
keep doing her work through you now.
Absolutely.
She'll just continue to do her beautiful life's work through you. And that's the advantage we have. And I'm so glad that you went there. I know from my experience has been a lot of people shy away when somebody gets sick or has an illness because they're so afraid of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing. And the only wrong thing would be to be absent.
Yeah.
I think they're looking for that permission to go because they have to, and we're looking for the permission to just, even if it's messy, it's okay. I tell people, don't be so afraid of messing it up. Be more afraid of not showing up.
Yep. Your presence is much more important.
Yeah, and even if you just don't say anything, it's the sweetness of somebody not being alone when we have an opportunity to be together.
Yep. Exactly.
And the education part of that, what was that like for you? Just had this been your first time being with somebody who transitioned?
No, I've seen many other people, transition and pass away over, the past few years, especially. But this one was just, I think, hit home a little bit closer for me this time around.
Yeah. So Lindsay, what are you going to be known for when you, like, for sure exit out of this world? You might be a cat. You might have no, I'm kidding, but it's beautiful just to hear your story. What do you want to be known for when it's your last physical time on this earth?
I want to be known for that I showed up and helped make a positive impact on the lives of as many people as I possibly could. I know that I guided and empowered people through their healing journeys and through transformation and finding their purpose and creating a ripple effect, one person at a time, that helps make the world a better place, then I know that I fulfilled my life's purpose.
When a person thinks of their life purpose, what is it simpler than we think? I mean, are we closer to it than we think, or do you think that it's still something where someone just it takes a lifetime for them to discover?
I feel that that is an individual journey for each and every person. And the timeline is going to depend on, that person's experiences in life. That's going to depend on if they decide that's even a want or desire for them. But a purpose can even come down to the simplest form of, how do I want to be and show up every day? What is the energy that I want to give out to other people? How do I want other people to feel around me? How do I want to feel about my life each and every single day? Even coming down to that is the simplest form of how purpose can show up.
I think for me, I kept thinking the purpose was like a real grandiose thing, like I had to search and seek for it to be something so, and really it was no, I'm just going to normalize the topic death. Just
Exactly.
normalize it, get it into the schools and get it into our homes and get it into our heart so that it's not something to fear, but something to face and truly just, let it be an acceptable conversation. Healing happens.
Yep.
Healing happens so much. So, would you say that how does this affect your personal life with the work that you do? I'm not
You
missing
know,
out on that great hubby you got there and that daughter you got there.
stepping into this work has actually elevated my life in every single way. I stopped resisting what I'm here to do, and in place, everything else in my life started to shift for the better. I spent a long time doing the career that I thought I was supposed to do and getting all of the education that I was supposed to have and climbing up the corporate ladder and doing all those things. And, that whole time I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. I was always stressed out. I was never happy with everything. My relationship was struggling. I mean, there was no fulfillment. And once I finally let go of needing to have all of these external accomplishments to have value for myself and actually get realigned with what I'm here to do, I'm able to show up as a better person for myself. I'm able to show up as a better person for my husband and my child and with everybody that I encounter every day. And it has just completely elevated my life all the way around.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody who has not been able to move on from from a loss, from a direct loss?
I would first say that there's no specific timeline on when someone needs to move on. And I would say maybe it's time to, first of all, allow yourself to grieve as necessary and really allow yourself to have that time and space to be sad. I feel like so many people will push the emotion aside and just try to move on to the next thing and actually don't give them that time and space to grieve. And that can delay the process greatly. But come to a space with yourself where you can find a sense of acceptance and a deeper understanding of this person may be gone on the physical plane, but they're with you on the spiritual plane, and they're with you each and every single day. And any of the regrets or the sadness or the what ifs that you may be holding on to, know that that person on the other side is not holding on to the same energy, and all they're seeing is wanting to send you love and light and want to see you live happily as well.
Do you think, Lindsay, with your just all the work that you've done over the many years, do you think that there are still a lot of unsettled losses, meaning people who have passed that are unsettled to the person who's still on Earth, trying to just navigate and figure this out on moving forward?
Do I feel the person that's passed still has the energy, or
So
the person that's here? Sorry.
I guess, yeah, I'm just trying to think if there are. I felt like my brothers had passed away very young, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, I was very angry, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't understand why God took them so young until I got into the funeral industry, and I realized, like, every age passes,
Mm-hmm.
and they pass at the time they're gonna pass because there was evidence all over the world that people didn't go until their time.
Yep.
And so I felt like my brothers started settling or being at peace the more I became at peace. But
Mm.
maybe they're already at peace. Maybe they're like, maybe my brothers were like, "Hey Mary, like you don't have to be so sad and down on yourself and
Yep.
hard on yourself
That's
or hard on
that's
your
what I would
family." I
say.
was hard on my family. I took it out on my family because again, I'm
Mm.
just this 14-year-old girl who was angry that
Yeah.
nobody would help me through it. But I think too, it's kind of an independent journey with though having permission to openly express and feel and be okay with being sad. My mom always said, "You can be sad. I just need you to put a time limit on it." Because back into life, if you're especially if you've got a job or you're a mother or a partner, you have a spouse, you got to get back into life, and living is as much as important as, the grieving.
Yeah. And continuing on and living your life to the fullest is honoring them just as much, if
Mm,
not more, than being in your grieving state.
that answers that question then, yeah.
Yeah.
So the more we're at peace and honoring,
Mm-hmm.
I'm certain they're they're getting a little bit of that
Yes.
as well
Yes.
by knowing we're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bigger thing is I think a lot of us just want to know we're going to be okay and get through the good and the bad.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
anything else you want to share, Lindsay, before we wrap up this precious time we've had together this morning?
I would just say that the topic of death and mortality can truly be a beautiful topic and a very healing topic when you open your heart to it. And it's also a space for endings and beginnings. And there's so much more to it when we open our hearts and we're able to have the conversation. And it's more than just the end. There's just so much more that death can offer us when we have those conversations.
I love it. Just open your heart. Well, I appreciate your time all the way from Minnesota today and sharing your love and your heart and your experience with all of us and how you've taken that and applied it into something tangible for other people to heal is just such a gift. Lindsay, you're still young and I hope you have a full long life. Keep this train trucking with me on, it is a way of normalizing mortality. It's a way of normalizing the discussion of death And I've had a session with you, and I'll tell you, I have opened up my heart a little bit more just by working with you that first time and having more understanding of, what this heart's about and what I want to do with it still in the world, why I have a chance. And I couldn't be, more proud of what you do. And I hope more and more people will reach out to you. What is a way that we can connect with you, Lindsay, if there is somebody who would like to, uh, get more information or even actually work one-on-one with you?
Yeah, so a great way to reach out to me, an email that I have is lindsay@newerasisters.com. If anybody is interested on wanting to do some work with me, I'd be happy to book a discovery call with them. With that discovery call, it's just a free call, 30 minutes, and we'll see how I can best assist them and what they're looking to work on. And we can go from there.
Awesome. And again, that email was, because I want to make sure we get
Yep.
it.
It's Lindsay, LINDSAY, @newerasisters.com.
Okay, because John here in the studio is so awesome. He's posting it in the chat so that we have that for, again, anyone out there who truly just, number one, just wants to be more involved with who they are.
Yeah.
And the bigger picture is to be okay with the conversation of death and finding that space to be able to, whether it's let go a little bit more of what happened, who it happened to, find some discoveries and all of that. Just reach out to Lindsay. She is wonderful to work with, and you don't want to miss an opportunity with this gal. She may be young, but let me tell you, that wisdom that you connected with at 14 makes you what we call an old soul, and you're just rocking it. Super proud of you. So keep doing what you're doing, and thank you again, Lindsay, for being on the show. I'm gonna have to say goodbye, but not for long. We will definitely stay connected, and I'm certain I will reach out to you for more time with you, just to keep peeling the onion, as they say, right? Huge
Absolutely.
layer of onion that just keep peeling back. We will eventually get to meet the person, hopefully long before we leave this physical earth, so we can share that person with the people we love the most. Because that's a pretty neat person to be able to do that. All right. So best to you and Blake and your sweet daughter. Tell me your daughter's name again.
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah.
Yes.
Best to you all and happy holidays. And I'll be reaching out to you soon.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. And I hope that you continue on with this mission because it's so very important. Thank you for your time today.
You're very welcome. Yes, Mary says, so if anybody ever says that you cannot talk about this because it's depressing, sad, or not a topic anybody should share, you tell them Mary said it's okay to.
I will do that.
Mary said it's okay. You're already doing that anyway. Thanks for being you, Lindsay. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mary. You too.
So there you have it. Permission Mission is a show that allows people to give themselves permission to talk about mortality. I love how Lindsay has taken her work and just applied it, taken her experience of transitioning over, but it not being her time, to come back and help all those who are still just trying to figure this life called loss out. And we did put her information to reach out to her directly. So I never want to end the show without doing the 5-second rule. 5-second rule is to favor inside. Remember that you are the most important person, as I am. So please look out for my well-being on the road. Here in Las Vegas, traffic can get very crazy. I woke up this morning to fire trucks and lots of ambulances, and I don't know who or where, but I certainly just put a prayer over all of them that everybody is safe. Favor inside. Again, find your purpose. Could be right in front of you. You're just waiting for you to grab hold of it and make that difference today, that you're going to decide to live your purpose and not dance around it or be afraid of it. And then value everyone and everything. Lindsay had shared, that even though it was sad and hard with her parents, going through, her family going through that experience of her almost passing, there were a lot of beautiful things that came out of that. So I'm kind of wondering if it's something we could take equally, whether it's hard times and good times, and we kind of even those things out equally, that they're both just as important to keep living and keep moving in life while we have the chance. So I will let you know, I am going to take a break from the Permission Mission show just for a little while, just to spend some time with my family, regroup with them. Holidays are coming up. I want to wish everybody happy holiday season. Please be safe out there. Look out for one another and continue to open up these important discussions, end of life, while you're with your families. And how do you get it started? Well, the first thing is, again, just to acknowledge your own passing, that one day you will pass, so that you have permission to give somebody else permission to talk about theirs. We have to accept it first before we can start putting it on somebody else, because let me tell you, it does hurt when you're saying to somebody else, well, what are your plans? What are your plans? What are you going to do? You want cremation? You want burial? Listen, that's kind of that's like oh, what do you want me to die? No, we want to live. It's more of just acknowledge that your mortality is real. You've taken some actions and some steps to put a plan in place for yourself. And then you can openly talk with your parents, if you have parents still here, and with family. Children need to know that this is an acceptable conversation. Otherwise, they're having to deal with losses on their own, not having any understanding that death is real. So if you also would like any support from me, I'm here to help you get started. I like Lindsay. You can always go to the permissionmission.com website to connect with me. And I always have a lot of tips and techniques out there on Permission Mission Facebook. So it's time to end the show. Again, I'll be gone for a little while, but you'll see me around. You'll still continue to see me out there on social media, because I'm not going to let this conversation ever go silent again. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mary McElhatton with the Permission Mission Show.